Hey, what is up? It is your friend Damien Howard here with another segment and session of Village Talks. I have my friend Shawn, who you all are going to meet in a moment. He, like me, is somebody who is passionate about how do we leverage technology to support mentorship, to support agencies that are desiring to not only reach and meet the needs of young people, but as I get to learn of Shawn and as we're growing our knowledge of each other, like his work is expansive, even through, the age of 70-year-old folks who are still learning from and valuing being mentored and walking alongside other people in life. And really, right, as we have this conversation, what we're going to quickly understand is that as we have conversations about growing our village and people working together, it is not segmented to just young people. At every stage and at every facet of life, like there's opportunities for us to keep growing by virtue of walking alongside each other and building our own iteration of what village means for us. So super excited, Shawn, for you to jump in here and introduce yourself to our viewing audience today.
Yeah, thanks, Damien. I'm so excited to be here today as well and to meet you. I love your podcast and all the energy that you bring to your guests. I thought I would start just by sharing how my career kind of evolved. And in 2006, I started a mentoring program when I was working in the nonprofit sector. I was helping newcomers to the country get their first job. And it was like a very speedy kind of mentoring. So a mentee would meet with a mentor for like 10 minutes and then switch to the next mentor. And we offered this event like 4 times a week. And whenever I could, I would sneak into the room and I just watch people have these interactions. And I was so excited to watch all the light bulbs go off. And then at the end of the event, the passion and the enthusiasm. This one guy came up to me at the end of the event and he said, "Yes, I did it. I met the right one." And within a week, he had a job in a bank. So that kind of like sparked the idea of mentoring. And I was like, wow, if mentoring could have this kind of impact, I
Yeah.
want to be doing more of it. And then by 2011, I came up with the idea of MentorCity. And basically, I had a lot of mentors that helped me kind of take this vision or this idea and bring it to life. Mentoring has meant everything to me throughout my entire career. All those people have been instrumental in providing me enough confidence to move forward and succeed.
Yeah, so explain to us, what is Mentor City? What are y'all doing over there with your organization?
Yeah, so MentorCity is an online mentoring software platform. So we're based in Canada, but we have clients all over the world that are using the platform. So in the United States and UK and Singapore, India, so all different pockets of the world. And so it's a software as a service business. So basically, what MentorCity does, or the software does, is it helps organizations run their mentoring program. So they could customize it based on their look, feel, and then start bringing in their mentors and mentees. And then the platform or the software does the matching, which is really important. So we have algorithms to make sure that the match is a good match. And then we lead the mentee and mentor through the mentoring relationship through the platform. So we're helping them with the mentoring agreement, setting goals, having those conversations. Everything is within the platform. Even having the video calls is through the platform as well.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So, Shawn, I just wonder, I would love to hear a little bit more about your process of building your own personal confidence to go after this. When we think of the realism behind starting something from scratch, going from idea to experimentation to scale. Shawn, that is not easy. And trust me, I know it because I've been a part of multiple ventures myself. And as you know, similar to you, we have mentoring technology that we are newly bringing to market even now.
Mhm.
So I would love for you, Shawn, to speak to our village, our audience that watches this, and just kind of speak into that type of process of building the confidence and even competence to just keep with it. Because, and I asked this question just to kind of, for full transparency, because I think oftentimes the key differentiator is the ability to just stick with the thing long enough until it clicks, right? And I think that that requires that I have the psychological makeup to deal with all of the frustrations, to deal with all of the closed doors and the no's. And I think that that takes a highly confident person. So I would love for you to speak into that. Take us on a journey as far as what that's looked like for you.
Yeah, yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Honestly, I've always struggled with confidence, and that's been a journey for me as well. Um, but I've dreamt about being an entrepreneur my whole life. And when I came up with the idea for MentorCity, I spoke to my mentor, and he said, "That's a great idea." And he gave me enough confidence to pursue that idea. And I never thought, I basically just went fully into the idea at that moment. I started writing a business plan, and 6 months later, I quit my full-time job. And it was a really hard time to quit my full-time job. I had, um, let's see, I had two kids. One was really young, and I had no savings. And I was like, I was actually so confident in this idea that I knew that I could make it happen. Somehow, even with my lack of confidence, I was so confident in this idea and this vision for a mentoring software, a mentoring platform. So that first year was the hardest year of my life when I started building the platform. I cold called 500 companies and I got rejected like every day. And it was like brutal. It was like so hard to stay motivated when you keep getting knocked down. I had to keep on like getting back up and keep pursuing. And then had some clients, so that helped building my confidence even more. And but the first year was the toughest year to like get things started.
Yeah, the language that I'll use for what you're articulating right now, beyond confidence, is faith. It's something about your vision, something about what you felt you were bringing to the market, bringing to the world that gave you enough of a belief that this thing is going to pop. This thing is going to be successful. I am going to go all in. And I don't necessarily know if me reorienting the conversation in that way brings anything else to mind, but I'm really, really encouraged to dig deep here, Shawn, because what it is that you're talking about right now, I know could be very helpful and might I even say formative to some other people. This ability to stick with the thing is unique but necessary for those of us who want to do something special in the world. So, again, I don't know if this triggered anything else in your brain, but I want to pause and see if you had any further thoughts.
Yeah, no, I think the sticking with it is key, and having like a vision and direction, and trying like for myself, I know I've always had to stick to what I believe in, especially when building this company. So many people want to take me in different directions, or they wanted to like be a partner, or they wanted to do this or that. Everyone I met wanted to like jump on board, but at that point, when I was like building MentorCity, I wanted to do it my way because I worked before this. I worked for 13 years in the nonprofit, but to be an entrepreneur felt freedom for me.
Mm.
Even it was the hardest thing that I've ever done, I still felt the sense of freedom and doing things and making my own decisions. But to really stick with it and to persevere, even when it was challenging, like it took MentorCity like 3 years to like make a profit.
Mm.
But once we made that profit, I remember I bought like a nice suit because I was celebrating that milestone of just like getting to that spot 3 years down the road. And when I started MentorCity, I thought, oh, we're going to be starting to profit within like 3 or 4 months. I had the whole business plan, and I thought it was all going to like happen fast,
Mm.
but it really didn't. It really took time to like get there, but I didn't give up. I literally like maxed out everything that I had. Every line of credit, every credit card was maxed out. I didn't really know what to do.
Wow.
Um, but I just kept focused and really and knew I could make this work.
Shawn, a key differentiator for you that everybody does not tap into, and in fact, I'm still learning to tap into the power and potential of this myself, is the fact that you consistently submit to mentoring yourself. So I wonder, during that time when all of the cards were maxed out, your wife is supportive, but maybe kind of getting a little anxious herself. Like, I thought you sold me 3 or 4 months, and now it's
Yeah.
3 years. I'm curious, what was the most profound that you can remember message or insight that you got from a mentor or a group of mentors that made all the difference for you? Like when you were in that rough patch, that rough season, and you were seeking counsel, was there anything said or ways that a mentor walked alongside you that helped you in that moment?
I think so I had so many mentors, and I think they stood beside me. They believed in me. They believed in my idea. They wanted to invest in it as well. So even that helped me keep going. Like,
Yeah.
even I said, if I ever really, really need it, I could have these partners. I didn't really take them up on it, but it was there. It was on the table for me.
Hmm.
So that helped me push. And then I know recently I was talking to one of my mentors he was mentoring me back right when I came up with the idea. And he said, we were celebrating our 14 years, and he said, I always knew you could do it.
Hmm.
And it's like having that belief from my mentors, even I believed it, but I'm sure I didn't believe it at some point. So I was like, can I really make this work? How am I going to make this work? It was huge. And I had another mentor that one of the best, like they were all awesome, but another mentor sold technology to BlackBerry. I don't know if anyone remembers that, but
Hmm.
he sold some, and so he was my mentor in the software space.
Hmm.
So because he had kind of done what I wanted to do, and probably one of the most important ones because I could just ask him anything. And had already gone down that path and shared all the wisdom, all the mistakes that he made with me.
Hmm. Oh, wow. Super powerful. And I just hope that similar to how your technology is affording folks from all walks of life to tap into mentorship, that each and everybody that is viewing this today never neglects the power, the potential, and the blessing that comes along with submitting to mentorship. To your point, where you were 14 years ago starting this is not where you are now, but that still doesn't put you in a position whereas you figured it all out, you have all of the answers. Because I would venture to believe, and you could talk about it better than I could, that there are new challenges. And might I even say new opportunities, right? So mentorship is still necessary. Am I correct in that?
Oh yeah, there's lots of new challenges. I've been feeling that, especially since the beginning of 2025, where the
Mm,
world just all of a sudden changed with AI. So that means as I had to pivot,
mm,
and I had to look at new strategies, new ways to stand out. So there's always room to grow, and I think it's a very interesting time to be in technology or be in any profession because you have to kind of dig deep into who you are
mm,
and what value you bring, and then with all the tools out there, how can you really use the tools but use them thoughtfully so that you're not like relying on AI, but you're still relying on yourself when you're making those hard decisions. Because I really believe that we're the best mentors of ourselves,
mm,
this inner mentor. So if you think about yourself 20 years from now, what would you do if you're that um, mentor within? Because I
mm,
feel like we know the best answers within ourselves. So when we're kind of like looking at AI responses to questions or concerns we have, or some of our mentors, we're the ones that really need to look at what would I do? or what am I going to do? We're still empowering ourselves to make that right choice and right decision.
Shawn, that is extremely fascinating to just imagine this whole new business proposition that you just threw
Mhm.
out there for me to go to Chat GPT and or to work with one of the existing LLMs and create something that says, hey, what is the 63-year-old version of Damien? What would he say about this business decision or how how I'm showing up for meetings or the meetings that are on my calendar? That would be fascinating because the more you're talking to these things, they're learning of you, right? And they're learning your tonation and the things that you care about. So yeah, that's an interesting idea to see myself 20 years from now and ask myself, okay, am I taking good care of him with the decisions that I'm making right now? Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
so I really appreciate that. Shawn, as I was talking to you ahead of this call, one of the things that stood out to me, especially since the whole premise of this podcast is centered around the building a village, tapping into the village so that we can do more together than we could in isolation. And it seemed like one of the ideas and things that's generating some unique energy for you right now. You said this whole sense of like building more community with your
yeah,
technology. Just talk to me a little bit more about what that looks like.
yeah. Building community is key within the platform. I feel what we've done and what we're continuing to do is build all the social media best practices into MentorCity because it allows people to connect in a safe environment. So within our platform, they don't need to worry about racism, bullying, swear words, inappropriate file attachments, sharing contact information because we've put in all the safeguards to ensure that everything is safe within the platform. And then if you think about social media and how it's so broad and that the whole world is seeing, but within Mentor City, it's only your organization, whether you're big brothers, big sisters. So it's something that you're connected to, that you're building a community within. So I think there's huge potential, especially as AI is more and more to have this sense of community and to build your network of connections because those people you're going to be able to tap into at every component of your career and life.
Yeah, so as I was really listening in as you were explaining there, it all almost sounds like, if I heard this correctly, that there's integrations that you're doing with your technology with social media. And it almost sound or some iteration of social media. And as I continue to listen,
Mhm.
it almost felt like we were doing something beyond what I do when I go to Facebook. I'm more so consuming what everybody else has going on in their lives. But your technology is like, yeah, it's good to know what this person over here who's an accountant of said firm, whatever it is, has going on. But like there's an ability to tap into the technology to make greater connections and to like tap into the power of mentorship beyond just consuming. Talk to me about that. Help me to understand that more.
Yeah, you feel like on the platform, you feel more engaged.
Yeah.
So you aren't just consuming information, but you are participating.
Mm.
Uh, So it might be conversation starters that really work in our platform is like, what's your favorite ice cream and how does that describe your personality?
Mm. I love it. I love it. I love it because that's one of the things that we hear contemporaneously that with the
Mhm,
advent of AI and all of the things that people are less connected, going on social media again, consuming, but not
mhm.
necessarily engaging, less connected. So I love, Shawn, hearing that one of the things that is giving you unique energy right now with what you're doing is helping people to get connection, which inevitably is going to advance whatever it is that they're working on, whatever it is that they're trying to do professionally with their relationships, etc. Right? Because now you have a trusted network that you can tap into for mentorship, for relationship, and all of the things. So, nah, I really appreciate hearing that. I wonder, is there anything else more you would want to say about that before we advance the conversation?
Yeah, I think like we've also created these spaces. So let's say a mentor is really good at something.
Mm.
and they want to build a community around what they're really good at. So say they're really good at helping people build their confidence. This mentor is going to start a space and then start adding resources, having discussions around that topic, adding curriculum, events. So it's a community within the community. And we're seeing a lot of great success of mentors or other people starting spaces and leading those spaces. Because when you're empowering the participants to take ownership, that's when community is really born. And then like through like a platform like ours, you're able to like have one-to-one chats, you're able to have those mentoring interactions, or just be part of that group or that community and really engage with it and feel more comfortable building that or being part of it.
Shawn, for you to have Walmart as an early, might I even say first client,
Yeah.
um, that is just unthinkable for folks who are out here trying to start something and just to imagine like Walmart, right, as the first people to say yes. Talk to me about that experience. How was an organization like Walmart, or specifically, how were they using you all's tech, and yeah, how did they find that as a fruitful experience for that organization specifically?
Yeah, I was very lucky. It was within a couple months of launching the platform that we had them on as a client. It
Mm,
was for their women in retail program. So we really started off with diversity initiatives. It was in Canada. I think there was some expansion to other countries as well, but they were using it to connect with other employees within the women in retail program at Walmart.
wow, that's just so powerful because even with that iteration of how your tech was used or utilized, you probably could have never imagined, all right, that this very specific niche, if you will, kind of initiative within Walmart could find a need of folks being mentored and being connected in this unique way. Just so
Yeah.
cool to hear. So,
And we
Shawn,
were like
yeah,
kind of like the instrumental in um, building the platform because they had a lot of ideas and
ah.
feedback. Some of the things that are still in place on the platform are their ideas. So those early adopters or your first clients are really going to drive the software and give you feedback to enhance it because it's a real like scenario use case.
I love that. And of course, I can resonate deeply with that, right? As somebody who
Mhm.
newly brought something to market, and we got a bunch of pilots going on right now, and we're learning all of the things. Somebody, I was sitting with one of our clients yesterday, and she was telling me about how she doesn't want to have to log in every time she goes into the application. And I'm trying
Mm.
to express from the security standpoint why that's helpful that she wasn't hearing it. So anyway, like yeah, I hear you. All of the things we're learning by those earliest adopters of the tech is a real thing. So Shawn, we're at a special part in our segment together. Whereas I want to kind of trigger your imaginative part of who you are. And with that being triggered, I'm giving you a magic wand. And what I want you to do with this is just kind of point this magic wand at whatever, thing within your ecosystem that you would want to see changed, you would want to see improved for the betterment of your iteration of what village means to you, right? When you get that magic wand, as you now have it, what are you pointing that at, and what's different because of how you're activating your magic gift?
I really feel that mentoring has the power to change everything.
Mm,
So when I read the newspaper, for example, I'm reading about violence and I'm reading about war and racism, all these horrible things that are happening in the world. And I feel like mentoring could be a solution for those things.
mm,
Um, from poverty to any kind of issue you can imagine. If you have people bringing people together to talk about that, it changes perceptions. It changes how people feel about each other, and it builds more connectivity.
mm.
So if I had a magic wand, I want more people to engage in these kinds of relationships, mentoring relationships, because that's going to change the world.
Mm.
And there's so much to change. And so to be able to like learn and appreciate one another, that's what mentoring could do.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And talking about learning and appreciating one another, you helped me to understand that for one of your longtime clients, they recently had a gala. And it
Mhm.
was fascinating hearing you talk about, how these people and just their extravagant garb when they were called out to get their awards, in your own words, they weren't rushing to get to the stage and accept that award. Sometimes they're going up there with like a little dance move,
Yeah.
just right, full of confidence, an assured sense of who they are, and all of the things. So with that being said, Shawn, keeping in mind how those people walked up when they went to go receive those awards, I want you to take on that same type of posture and mentality with these final parting words that you're going to give to us today, right? This isn't hopefully a time where you feel rushed and we have to get to the end of this segment and conclude it and land the plane. No, like just like they kind of marched to the stage with all of that awesome regalia and hair, just done so wonderfully. They even had, like I said, a little shimmy going along with the music. That's the energy and spirit, Shawn, that I would hope you would embrace as you give parting words. And those parting words, Shawn, whatever comes to mind, like as you think of the conversation you and I just had, as you think of those things that are exciting you right now, maybe some of the things that are scaring you right now, in contemporary society. Just what would you leave us with before we end the segment today?
I'm just so happy that you invited me to your podcast, and I was so excited about the software that you've created and the impact you're making. Helping mentors have better mentoring conversations with the youth that they serve is huge.
Mm,
One of the things that so congratulations
thank
for
you.
everything you've done and your perseverance and I believe that you're gonna be in the you're doing it. You're
Mm,
already like have all these people on your platform.
mm.
You're getting feedback, so that's like it's all like bringing you to like a 14-year-old company. Like
Wow.
yeah, and I remember like when I started working with youth, I it was like pre-COVID, and is a 7-year-old that was being mentored by some high school student. It was like a peer mentoring program, and she said she wrote in the comments I that she met made her best friend,
Mm,
and that comment never left me. I was like, that's why I love working with youth, and I love it's so exciting to see that kind of connection and them to have this role model. I recently started mentoring a 15-year-old from Saudi Arabia
mm.
and Pakistan. She actually moves back and forth. And I've learned so much from being her mentor. Like she always is so appreciative, and I'm just as appreciative because I've never um, learned so much from a mentoring relationship. She has this amazing idea about changing emergency care globally, and I'm just blown away from these interactions. So it's really a two-way street. Whether you're the mentee or the mentor, you're going to learn an amazing amount of information, and it's inspiring both ways. Like that's why it's beyond AI. Like you will get inspired by AI, but by having these conversations, you're also going to get inspired, and I think it's really beautiful and wonderful to be able to learn from each other and connect with each other and celebrate each other.
Well, Shawn, what I'll say is I feel well affirmed and might I even say celebrated based on the way that you landed this plane and how you chose to end this segment, starting with an affirmation. As you could imagine, this journey and this work isn't always easy.
Mhm.
So, right, to have some folks who can kind of resonate with where you are and provide that affirmation, it means a lot. Shawn, I did not anticipate before you and I got on the call that it would be so heavy on the unique kind of concept of mentoring solely. But yeah, the insights that were shared here, helping all of us to understand not only the power of mentorship, but then I heard even Sean in the last part that you said was a challenge, right? Like all of us in our own right have the ability to authentically show up and be a blessing to other people, be helpful to other people. You talk about somebody who's across the world, totally different social context, all of the things, yet and still you're able to learn from her, Sean, based on a
Mhm.
willingness for y'all to spend time together and keep showing up for each other. And that's
Mhm.
what this whole thing is about. Y'all, this has been episode 15 of Village Talks. Shawn Mintz of Mentor City. I am so grateful just for this connection, and I'm sure that this won't be the last time, Shawn. Not only that you
Yeah.
and I are talking, but I even look forward to season two, having you on as a guest again. Thank you so much for joining.
Thanks, Damien.
All right, all right.